starting. Well, I've started my recording just for anybody watching in the background. Hey, howdy. Excited to see you. First map selection is going to keep yourself safe, and we've got Ixgard, Hell's Heaven, and Celestial Husk. I imagine Hell's Heaven is probably our first map pick. That or the Royal Palace. I think that Celestial Husk is probably going to be a counter pick for round 2 or round 3. On the flip side, Nerd Asian, if they were in this position, I imagine that they definitely go straight for the Royal Palace. It has been one of their better maps all season. Excuse me. I believe that this match will ultimately be won by keep yourself safe. But, of course, that does mean that we do need to take a look at all of the possible outcomes, and I believe that it's going to be keep yourself safe winning 2-1. I reckon game 2 probably ticks over in favor of Nerd Asian. They've got the capacity to counterpick, the capacity to play better and adapt, but I think ultimately that keep yourself safe, they have the talent, they have the lineup, they have the players, and we are 20 seconds now and counting from getting ourselves started with qualifying final 1. One of these teams is going to be making the grand final. One of them could make the grand final still, but they would need to play the winner of qualifying final 2 in the semi-final. That means that this is our golden ticket matchup. We are going to be seeing these teams getting underway. Ladies and gentlemen, qualifying final 1, season 2, 3v3 league finals. The first map selection. It is keep yourself safe, with that benefit having been the highest seed all season, but also recently 17-1. What a fucking phenomenal record for this KYS team. And indeed, it does look like Gloomy's hovering that Hell's Heaven. No duplicate maps are allowed, so we are only going to see each one once, and KYS selects their, dare I say it, home court in Hell's Heaven. Naturally, they do have quite a strong connection to the Winter Soldier, given that that is the main of their MVP frontrunner in Rocky. I would like to add as well that the awards will be announced sometime in the next couple of days. We've had delays with getting the results in, but they have been brought in. They will be tallied, finalized, and announced as we are looking for our first ban of this matchup. It is Nerd Asian with the first ban bias, and they do opt to eliminate Angela from the pool. If that's keep yourself safe, if I'm keep yourself safe, we need to save Emma now. We know that Emma's going to be the next ban if Nerd Asian is allowed to let that through, but they're going to ban Rogue as well. If it's not an Emma ban here, I am very, very concerned. They might try and save the Winter Soldier, but if they do, it's a very dangerous game to be playing, and that does mean that Nerd Asian can knock out both Angela and Bucky should they choose to. Obviously, as we can see, Rocky with the champion Bucky as his hover. They do save the Spider-Man, saying, we think that our MVP candidate is better than yours, but we're going to be knocking out Bucky almost definitely, given the chance here. Now, I'm very shocked seeing that ban. And the reason that I'm very shocked seeing that ban is because that is information that, I mean, wasn't necessarily public. They banned Venom as well. Does keep yourself safe. But it was not necessarily public knowledge that Rocky was aiming to play a bit of DPS pool here. Clearly, Nerd Asian doing their research. They want Rocky on Bucky. They want him playing his main. I imagine that might be some kind of gambit, although he's automatically banned, to goad him into an ego diff against potentially Corrin, especially if we do get something like a Thing save here. Although Thing not particularly effective into Emma. What's the save here for NNA? They're going to save the C&D. Definitely not a bad pick by any means. I wonder if we're going to be seeing Corrin's Mag, and if not, Mag would have been potentially a better selection there. They are going to get rid of Iron Fist as well. Iron Fist has been one of the best heroes in the format this season, having dominated the first final of this final series. Daft played him for literally, I kid you not, 100% of that match. Now, obviously, Daft, an outlier player, quite strong on both Phoenix and Iron Fist, means that Team Fish was kind of caught in a, well, speak of the devil, and she may appear. Team Fish was kind of caught in a pick your poison scenario. And even though they do save the C&D, they're going to select the Lunar Snow. As Penguin on Thing, I don't think Thing into an Emma is quite the smartest decision that could be made, as Rocky goading Penguin to be playing the Spidey here. Gloomy potentially on White Fox. Some insane comms are happening here as we are here on Hell's Heaven. This is the Hydra Charterers base, our first map here, as I realized that all of my settings were for getting captures earlier today. The Super Soldier Factory. I mean, the environment here reminds me of, I think it's Utapau, where Obi-Wan ends or experiences Order 66, as well as ending General Grievous's life. But this is not Star Wars. It's a different Disney franchise in Marvel. And we are here to see some of the highest skill players the league has to offer and some of the most coherent teams and talents face off for a golden ticket to the grand final. Here we are. Keep yourself safe. Nerd Asian, game 1. Out of the gates, we do have White Fox, Bucky, and Emma facing off against Magic, Luna, and Groot is ultimately the pick. Thing. Not quite a smart decision for them here. Magic definitely trying to play for the pressure here, as Gloomy immediately feeling the pressure. So too is Ace, and I wonder, where is Rocky? He's just playing down and around here, as here is the DPS duel between Corrin and Rocky here, but Corrin immediately ignores it, forces out the teleport. Neither team able to gain control of the point here, but Penguin very, very low, forces Luna to start clapping, but Luna not clapping enough. There's a double KO for Rocky, and even though we were off to such a strong start, it's going to be keep yourself safe, securing the objective. Miku, desperate to not feed, does drop all the way back. I wonder if we're going to see a switch from Corrin onto the Magneto. Penguin on to the Punisher. Here we go. Penguin, he has been one of the best DPS players, indeed one of the best dive and one of the best poke players in the league this season, and Corrin, one of the most effective players in the league on tank, as Rocky says, nah, the Punisher is not the pick, mate. I mean, Corrin just playing solid as he does, blocking as much damage as he can, keeping his support as safe as is possible. Clapping now is Miku, as Penguin drops back in 140 HP, heading to the right to pick up that pack. I don't know if Rocky quite realizes that. Penguin playing the height, does have the walls to get a different angle here, does finally start to see people dropping back out, does attract the attention of Taru, not quite enough to be able to give him the pick there, as Rocky with an immediate pick and gets the double KO with his ult. Can he get the reset? Yes, he does. And a triple for Rocky. He's got all 6 of Keep Yourself Safe's finals in this first round. I don't think we've seen a performance quite this dominant, and he's already been the most dominant player this season, and here it is. We were waiting how long until the mask slipped on. Peter Parker back at it again. And I mean, immediately just going to go pressure the point. That's the mobility that this hero affords. Does get a pull in on Gloomy. Does get them in and dragged, but not enough to force any kind of decision there. Just playing it super safe. Rocky not able to get the final hit there, but he's able to get into Miku. What a freeze. Does manage to get the ultimate popped before Emma's affects her. There is the White Fox ult. Not quite enough, but White Fox nearly pulled off. Spidey not able to get it, 99%. Corrin does manages to knock Gloomy off of the edge. Corrin manages to secure the pick, but they nearly C9. Taru, Corrin with the triple. And even though they nearly C9, even though they nearly lose 100-0, Nerd Asian proving why they were a 14-4 team in the regular season. I mean, we are seeing the best of both of these teams here. You've got the best of both worlds. And it doesn't matter, because we have an absolute classic on our hands. These two teams, I tell you what, there is nothing but love between these teams, but they both want to win so desperately. There is some pride on the line, as Rocky gonna take that off angle. I don't think Miku quite aware. Corrin definitely is, as I'm tabbing to try and find the right hero there. Back down main, trying to find Spidey, does see him, baits out the hook. That's a big cooldown to have there as Penguin's still trying to go for a pull. Does get the pull, but it's not quite enough as Taru was in the diamond form. Rocky very, very low in the backline. Spidey gets in. Spidey pops the ult. Does manage to get two there. They need to get the point. They need to get the point. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They nearly C9. But Penguin with the triple. And even though Rocky has every single final hit for Keep Yourself Safe, both of his teammates have 0. 3 for Corrin. 3 for Penguin. And 0 for Miku so far at the very least. Now, while we are here, I'm also going to pull up just a little bit of stats for me to reference in between the games, because there were a couple of league records broken when we were... Blade? What? Huh? Respectfully, what? Does he know something we don't? As Miku, you might just need to pop and get in, and she does, and they do. As Gloomy, only 50% ult. Rocky does give up a lot of an ultimate there as Penguin got a pull. I missed it. Blinking, you missed it. This Spider-Man is everywhere, as Corrin might try and use his ultimate offensively here, trying to get the pick onto Miku. Penguin eventually gets it and does have the chance to use his ultimate here. Tries to find Rocky. Rocky trying to bait it out with the block. Not quite enough. And both of these players very, very low. As Rocky trying to get the lifesteal. What can Penguin do? Penguin, you've just got to stay alive. Does get the pack. Does get back in. He's stalling. He's doing everything. He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. Penguin, but he does actually give up the point. They do C9 it. Rocky has to drop back. And Corrin playing one of the slowest tanks in the game. It's going to be up to the Spider-Man. Peter Parker, what can this menace do? Gets in. Gluey's on very low HP. Does pop the Fox form. Not going to be enough to get the pick, but Miku manages to get the healer. That's a critical pick from the fish. As it's 1v3. It's 1v3, but Taru has the ultimate. 1v3, but Taru gets the Jeff as well. But it's going to be Corrin. Solid as a rock. Stiff as a steel beam. And hard as nails. Corrin, you madman! What a clutch play from Cool Matt's Games to give round one of I Hope 9 to Nerd Asian. Oh my goodness. My heart is beating a million miles an hour. I get so fucking hyped watching these games because these are two of the best teams in the league, two of the best teams that this format has to offer. And they are putting on an absolute fucking show already. And I tell you what, if Nerd Nation is able to keep up this level of performance, I don't know what Keep Yourself Safe is going to have as an answer. They have not been challenged much this entire season. And even though they had the opportunity to select whether they banned first, whether they banned second, even though they had the opportunity to select the first map they fight on, and indeed they have, even though they have all of these advantages, the first round ultimately ended up going to Nerd Asian. Taru whips his thing out, and Rocky still on the blade, still saying that that is a viable pick, is a very interesting decision as Penguin on the Masked Menace. The Masked Monkey Menace in as our teams are engaging on the front line for the first time. Rocky just trying to get as much value as he can out of the self-sustain that Blade offers and the anti-heal that he can afford onto the tank. But Miku, no longer just self-flaking, is flaking Corrin to give him the best chance possible and does get the freeze in onto Blade, but Penguin gets the point. Penguin gets the point and does have Gloomy pulled here. Pops the ultimate. That's a very, very aggressive. That's a very ambitious ultimate, but I think the critical factor is that even though they get nearly a team wipe, Keep Yourself Safe, they've lost 15, nearly 20% of the point by the time that they get there. Penguin, though, going to hop onto Groot potentially. No, he's staying Spidey. He's staying Spider-Man. It's looking like he's going to stay Spider-Man. That is a critical decision. Now, the ult advantage in Keep Yourself Safe's favor, however, not entirely. Rocky does have the ultimate, does see two lined up. Is he going to pop it? He's going to pop it straight in on to Miku, but does get the bubble from Corrin as Corrin gets a second life there, but Penguin just trying to take the point again with the sneaky plays. Just playing around it. They have no idea where he is. Oh no. Does have to get out. does manage to do it as Corrin now on Thor. He did see that quite effectively in a couple of practice scrims that were played between Nerd Asian and just a hodgepodge of players, myself, Nyan, and I believe Hooks were the players there, but Rocky very, very low as Corrin, showing the value behind this pick immediately. Penguin gets a ton of value as well. Distraction and display as Corrin with another triple KO, and we are seeing the final hits condense onto 2 players in Rocky and Corrin, and the advantage of the insta-cap from Spidey has already reared its ugly head. As even though they only captured the point as a team for the first time there, they've nearly already caught up to where Keep Yourself Safe is capture percentage-wise. And the mental games that Penguin is playing with this Keep Yourself Safe team does nearly get caught there. And what an uppercut from Rocky to get the pick advantage. Corrin just needs a little bit of healing, and he can drop in and use his ultimate, and he does, and he might be getting Rocky here, does get Rocky, and even though they do have a support ult to counter it, they've already got Spider-Man back in on the point. This is the advantage that is afforded to having the most mobility in any hero shooter ever, but they've got no heals, and Corrin does go down, and Gloomy, what a fucking ultimate to give their team the advantage here. Penguin still playing the menace here, still being an absolute fucking plague to Keep Yourself Safe's mental, and this very may well be going to a round 3, but I would not count out this Nerd Asian team who have been putting on a show since the very start. Ults are nearly tied overall. Rocky and Penguin sitting at 80% each. One of those ultimates has been vital in getting picks in on multiple of this Keep Yourself Safe team. One of them has been vital in getting the team wipes on Nerd Nation, and even though they do get a ton of pressure in, it's going to ultimately be Rocky getting 2 there, and Miku's got to push in. Miku's got to push in if you want the chance. You don't have time to be heading back to spawn, Miku. No, they're going to just give the point here. Unless Penguin can hit the rollout of a lifetime, he cannot. They're just going to give the point. They're just going to save the ult. They're not going to feed any more ult charge to either of these teams. And we are heading to a round 3 in our first of, oh God, I hope, 3 games. I'm beyond impressed. I am beyond bewildered at these players. Penguin does have an ultimate on board. Corrin switching off of Thor now that the Bucky is rearing its ugly head, and I think that is going to be a key factor moving forward, is going to be whether or not we see Bucky. If we see Bucky, we might be seeing a mag to counter. If we see the mag, we might be seeing the switch to Blade, and if they switch to Blade, that's when you're going to be starting to see the Thing and the Thor coming out of the woodworks to counter that melee-based hero. We are here on the Eldritch Monument, and I couldn't think of a better place to host a round 3. The ambience, the eeriness, the absolutely unsettling and occult-like nature of this map lend itself to a duel of the fates between 2 of the greatest teams this format has ever seen. Rocky, no! He's onto the Star-Lord. What an interesting decision, as Penguin does see a very, very lone, very isolated support. Just waiting, just trying to get any kind of advantage in. Penguin does see the teleport come out immediately, as Corrin going to be struggling into this White Fox, as Penguin does use the ultimate, but he does get Gloomy dead, does eventually fall to the Star-Lord, though. Now it's just Miku. She's going to have to retreat, and Rocky not able to catch up. Neither is Tara, even with the jumps on deck. Spider-Man, though, just trying to do a little bit of poking and prodding, but we're going to see the Punisher counter switch here. Going to try and force the switch back to Emma. Seemed to be when the Spider-Man was working the best for Penguin. Taru nearly with an ult on board. Same with Corrin. Same with Miku. Gloomy at about 50%, but they're building it very, very quickly here. Corrin does see Star-Lord heading around the back. Did he comet? It doesn't look like he did. Flips to avoid the snowball. Starts spinning like a Beyblade. He's half HP though, Penguin. Just trying to get a pressure in. Does force out the ultimate. Does Taru from Miku. As they get in and on the point. Punisher trying to find the nearest support for him to start hitting with a 12 gauge. It's not quite going to be enough, as this Keep Yourself Safe team nearly has 50% of the point. Penguin drops to the Star-Lord. Miku, nearly low, does fall to Taru, and Gloomy... Corrin doing everything to get the pick. It's not going to be enough. We have seen this same script play out before, though. Do not count out Nerd Asian until that final siren sings. Although I tell you what, with a support and a DPS ult on board, they do have the mag ult to counter, and White Fox's ult not the most effective in this format. But I tell you what, White Fox clearly a support fan favorite, as this is now a White Fox Ditto on top of everything else. These two teams eerily well matched, as Rocky might be looking to pop his ultimate sometime soon. There it is. Here's the mag ult to try and hit it with the counter. Does see Gloomy isolated in the back line. Down goes that White Fox, and Corrin with an outstanding bubble to keep Miku safe. And now it's just tank v tank. And I tell you what, in this matchup, unless he has his own bubble, he does. They have time, but Gloomy with a faster respawn. Can they get OT? That's the key factor. They do get OT. Penguin's going to be able to get on. Is he going to be able to get Taru? Does get the stun. Does get the pick. It's just Gloomy. Rocky's going to be too slow. No, Rocky's back on. Miku, where are you? You've got to go quick, Miku. You've got to go quick, Miku. Oh, no. And Penguin falls, and after such a good display, it's going to be Keep Yourself Safe, 100-0 to firmly close out that round 3 of Game 1. Fear not. We have, at minimum, one more absolutely cinematic game coming very, very shortly. This was Keep Yourself Safe versus Nerd Asian Game 1. Rocky, the game MVP, with the Star-Lord in the end, does get 19 final hits there, which is going to be both a season and a league record-breaking final hits in a final series game. He does also break the KOs in a single final series game record for this season. As Monkey Brains Penguin does set with 11 deaths, unfortunately, a record for the most deaths in a single final series game this season. The damage record is also broken by Rocky. 797 beats out Daft 2374 from Friday. Damage blocked firmly in Corrin's hands, 28,513, which breaks not only Dylan's PF1 record, but also Nyan's record, which had stood from last season, the semi-final 2, game 2, 26,416 does get broken, as well as the healing record now belonging to Miku. I'm going to drop by and see if these teams are all good to go. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next game very, very shortly.